Welcome back to the channel, and in this video, we're going to be covering the Miami Dolphins win yesterday against the Chargers. I almost said last night. um, the Dolphins won on Sunday on the road at Los Angeles. It was a very highly contested matchup. Both offenses clicking on all cylinders. Tua, I'll say this: I've never been really a Tua fan because of his injury history. But if I can say one thing, is that this guy, when the Dolphins are in a shootout, you feel as if you're never out of the game because he just keeps finding ways to win games. It may not be the best looking ball that he throws, but he wins the games. He did it against Chicago and Detroit and Baltimore last year. He won a bunch of shootouts against Baltimore for the Dolphins last year. Excuse me. This game against the Chargers, he won first drive of the game. The Dolphins take the ball first after opening kickoff. They drive down the field, and for some reason, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, Tua and Connor Williams can't seem to get the quarterback and center exchange handled correctly. Three occasions, the ball was fumbled by Connor Williams and Tua Tagovailoa, twice under center. The first one went to the Chargers, which cost the Dolphins 7 points, and then the Chargers drove down the field for a touchdown. So that was a 14-point swing, basically. Another one, Tua was in shotgun. I think it was the third one. Tua was in shotgun, and the ball hit Tua in his kneecaps. I also think Tua kind of maybe took his eyes off the ball a little bit, but it was a low snap by Connor Williams. He needs to get that together. You can't have your center fumbling the ball almost every single time Tua gets underneath the center or is in the shotgun formation because it's going to eventually cost you games. But the run defense was a big problem. The Chargers had, let me see right here, the Chargers had, 234 yards rushing on the day. Now, some of it also came from Justin Herbert scrambling as well, but I'm not surprised that the Dolphins gave up this much on the ground. The run defense was a problem in the preseason, and when I was watching it, I said, that's going to be an issue for Miami later on throughout the year, this run defense, and they need to get that figured out if they want to expand upon what they did last year, which was making the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Run defense was a big problem. Tyreek Hill obviously went off on the Chargers like he always does. It seems like Tyreek Hill saves his best performances when he's going up against the Chargers. Whether he was with when he was with the Chiefs, he did it a lot, and now that he's on Miami, he's continuing to do it. Chargers fans, I know they're gonna be so happy that guy when that guy retires because he always seems to dish it out to the Chargers, the worst. But anyways, it was a great performance by Tua, great performance by Tyreek Hill. Not only was it a great performance by Tua and Tyreek Hill, but how about the offensive line? They did not have their best left tackle, Teron Armstead, on the field yesterday because of an injury, which is Teron Armstead's history that he always seems up injured. The guy is a Hall of Fame talented left tackle, but throughout his career, durability has always been his concern. And now that he's getting older, it's going to be even more of a concern when you get up in age and you're going to have to continue playing games now in November and December, and now with the NFL being in a 17-game rotation annually, it's going to be a problem. Not only that, but I thought the Chargers, Justin Herbert had a real good day until the end. The big crucial moments to me that affected the game, not the was that one. The Chargers drive down the field, tie the game up at 17-17. The Dolphins only had less than 30 seconds to move down the field. They're at their own 25. Mike McDaniel, instead of just going into halftime with a 17-7 lead, he decides, no, let's see if we can get a field goal here. So he calls a pass play. Tua throws the ball to get a first down to get out of bounds. Then they do it again to get closer to midfield, and they decide, let's try a Hail Mary where they send all the receivers down the field for an end zone and for the end zone towards the end zone to get a touchdown, and let's see what happens. Well, Tua throws the ball down the field, and if you know Tua, you know he's not a strong-armed quarterback, so he was a few yards short of making the end zone. But the problem was that J.C. Jackson for the Chargers got a pass interference penalty, which put Miami inside the 25-yard line, I believe it was, inside the 25, which allowed them to kick a field goal to go up 20-17 heading into halftime 3 points, which would later come back to bite the Chargers. Then you fast forward to the third quarter. The Chargers are up 24-20. Tua throws an interception by J.C. Jackson, makes up for the penalty, right? The Dolphins get a crucial 3-and-out. One play in particular was due to Cater Kohu timing being drawn up on a very nicely timed and designed blitz by defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Cater Kohu gets the first sack of the Dolphins defense the entire day, tackles Justin Herbert just outside the end zone at the 1 yard line Justin Herbert stuck his arm out with the ball in his hand to prevent the safety from happening, and then the Chargers have to punt. There's a bad punt by the punter, J.K. Scott, who used to play for Alabama. He punts a 30-something yard punt. I think he kind of shanked it, kind of hit the side of his foot, or maybe because he was so backed up into his end zone that he was more worried about getting the ball out quickly than actually punting it down the field. But either way, bad punt all around. The Dolphins get it inside the 35-yard line, and on this, I believe it was the second play or the very first play, Tua throws it down the field to Tyreek Hill, anticipates his route time perfectly, hits Tyreek Hill in stride. The Dolphins go up 27-24. The Chargers answer back, go up 31-27. The Dolphins drive down the field, and on a 4th down and 7, they kick a field goal to go up 30 to minimize the lead from 31 to 27 to 31-30. And that's a crucial point because had they would have gone for it and failed, they probably would have needed to go into overtime to win the game. So the Chargers get the ball. They're up 31-30. They drive down the field. They get a field goal out of it. Thankfully, the Dolphins' red zone defense came through when they needed it. Tua throws a hell of a ball down the field to Tyreek Hill again, and then they continue to drive down into the red zone. Another throw that Tua made was a hitting. I believe it was River Craycroft or Braxton Berrios, one of the two, across the middle to put the Dolphins inside the 10. And on the 3rd down and goal inside the 10, Tua floats the ball over a Chargers defender right over the man's shoulder to land it to Tyreek Hill inside in between the numbers for the game-winning touchdown. Tua could have thrown that ball 100 more times, and the ball would not have been placed in a better spot than what it was on that play. Excellent play by Tua. Great throw, accurate throw, better concentration by Tyreek Hill to maintain it. And the Chargers defender, if you're a Chargers fan, you can't get mad at the guy that was covering Tyreek. It was just a greatly thrown ball. The coverage was absolutely perfect. Well, not perfect, but it was great. The coverage was great. He was not the problem on that play. Tua just made a better play than he did, and Tyreek Hill made a better play than the defender did. You can't get mad. So the Chargers get the ball back. They're down 36-34 because Jason Saunders missed the extra point. Justin Herbert gets a first down. But then he stupidly gets an intentional grounding penalty, which pushes the Chargers back 10 yards. So on 2nd down and 20. And then the next 2 plays, Vic Fangio, who had rarely blitzed the entire game, calls up 2 back-to-back blitzes and gets 2 back-to-back sacks to ice the game essentially. So it was great. It was a great play calls by Vic Fangio on that last drive. The pass rush finally came through at the end, even though they had struggled the entire game. The run defense was bad, but because of Tua, Tyreek Hill, the offensive line for the Dolphins that held up and great opportune blitzing by Vic Fangio's defense, the Dolphins were able to steal this victory on the road in Los Angeles to go up 1-0. Like I said, great game by Tua, Tyreek Hill, and the offensive line. To me, they were the stars of this game, and it was just great to see Tua once again save the Dolphins from certain doom. He may not be the most aesthetically pleasing quarterback to look at in terms of size and arm strength, as opposed to a Justin Herbert who's 6'6", 230 and has a cannon of an arm and has mobility. But Tua knows what it takes to win football games, and he does it time and time again. Even if you're not the biggest Tua fan, you have to admit when Tua plays, the Dolphins win more often than not. It was just a great offense, great day by the offense. The defense needs to shore up their run game. Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips need to do much better job in their pass rushing, because quite frankly, it's what's hurting the team. Uh, they don't have, but hopefully when Jalen Ramsey comes back from his injury, because it looks like he's going to return sooner than what people think. Maybe having the extra coverage will will help give the pass rush a few more seconds, maybe a second or two more, just to get to the quarterback. And I also think that Justin Herbert's mobility also hurt the Dolphins pass rush a little bit. So all in all, good win, go Dolphins.